All right. So a couple of things that we do need to cover since our last session ended. Obviously, you guys beat Shalta. Good for you.
Yes.
Well
Woohoo!
done. And you went back to the gnomes, and basically the session ended. You guys were chillaxing with the gnomes, having a feast in your honor. Finn got a baby junior.
Maybe
Mm-hmm.
Junior.
And so, one thing I should point out before we do get started is that the next morning, when you guys wake up, you wake up to two things. First, a lot more gnomes are around than were before.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean thousands of gnomes.
Oh my god.
And you are told by Jigal that all of the gnomes could feel a shift in their magic when Shalta died, and they have all congregated here to discuss what happened and what to do next. And they are going to hold a council later that day between the gnomes, where Jigal is going to tell them about the arrangement, and he expects good tidings because everyone's in a really good mood because they're not about to be exterminated anymore. Yet.
Yeah, the lack of genocide
Yeah.
tends to make people pretty happy.
Yeah. Go figure.
In addition to that, the gnomes are really, really happy and cheering, especially because Guy was able to, using gnome magic, lead them straight back into the fortress, because gnomes have the ability to walk through stone, and Guy knew exactly where to go, and led them directly to the Beholder's treasure vault, which Beholders do love their shinies, and so do gnomes. And gnomes, the gnomes, with Guy's help, literally just robbed the fortress blind because there was no Beholder there to guard it, and the entire fortress is in upheaval because there's no one ruling it anymore. They basically managed to walk away with a whole bunch of treasure. And, excuse me, considering the fact that all of that was made possible by you, they have given you your fair share, which is the 1,100 gold apiece I have given you. They're very mercantile-esque, and instead of giving you treasure, they just give you the value in gold. And not only did they give you that, which is your fair share for defeating the Beholder, but they invite you to go visit their bazaar, which is something that takes place once in a while when all the gnome tribes get together. If all the tribes are in the same place at the same time, might as well do business. And they set up a giant bazaar that has all sorts of things, and that was where the shopping list came from. Now, I gave this... Excuse me, I don't know what's wrong with me. That's where you got the gold, and that's why you were able to buy the things, because all the things that you've been buying have been coming from that bazaar. And if there's anything you want that you haven't talked about, this is probably one of the few places in the world you might be able to find it. Because the gnomes deal with all of the societies. They have no prejudice against any of them. No one minds trading with them, and they find all sorts of baubles. So this is a very rare event that you guys are a part of, and it's very loud because there are thousands of gnomes.
Okay.
It's almost as if they were all just waiting in the stone for someone to be useful, because otherwise they're just too useless to do anything on their own.
You're not that far off. I mean, all their magic is illusion and hiding. They don't, when it comes to actually doing something, they're kind of...
Yeah. I'll put this in the chat. That's what I'm buying. 2 potions of Aptitude Champion tier, 1 potion of Invisibility, and 4 potions of Salvation Squee. 1,100 gold.
Alrighty. Nice.
Okay. I'm purchasing 1 oil of slipperiness, 1 potion of water breathing, 1 potion of speed, 1 potion of aptitude, 1 physical damage dampening, 1 magical elemental damage dampening, 2 potions of salvation, and 3 health potions.
I'm sure Squee will remember all that.
No, but just to let you know, that's 1,100 gold. So yeah, I'm doing the exact same thing you just did. So there you go.
No, I have recordings if I forget. So this
I
is
have it
nice.
written down on my character sheet. That's the important thing, and just let you know what I bought.
Right. No, I trust all you guys. I'm glad that you guys are informing me of what you have. But yo, dogs, I bought this potion of speed, champion potion of dragon's breath fire, and 1 potion of salvation. That comes from Finn,
Yo.
obviously.
Word.
Also, while Cole is typing that out, you are able to find at the bazaar. One of the gnomes hands you a I don't know. I don't think they've actually heard. No, I guess they had to hear that you wanted to go to Windfall Isle because they need to give you a guide so you can get there. Because Cole may be able to walk through stone, but he has no idea where to go. So when they found that you were going to Windfall Isle, they gave you that map that you're looking at now, which is the most up-to-date map that they have. They do stress that Windfall Isle has not been settled for over 1,000 years, as far as anyone knows. And while gnome scouts have seen buildings on the island, they have no idea what they're for, who built them, or why they're there.
Good work on the gnomes for obtaining surface topography maps despite living in the Underdark. Good job.
Well, they obtain all sorts of things. They didn't make it themselves. They probably just traded someone for it.
Yes.
The archaeologist who visit Windfall Isle.
All right, so, gosh, I don't know what's with my throat today. So, a good news is later that afternoon, while you guys are shopping and Cole is getting some instruction on how to use his new magical artifact, because he does require a bit of instruction on it, Jigal comes back to you triumphant and says that the rest of the tribes have agreed to your terms, that they will assist in any way that they are able to in the war effort. Of course, they stress again that they are not and will not be frontline troops, but any sort of supporting role, travel from one area to the other, they will do whatever they can to help.
Their illusionary magic will come in handy too.
They nod. And they say, again, Jigal says that the tribes are internally grateful, especially for what you've done. You are all now heroes to our people.
Holy butts!
That's what I got. I'm just saying.
You got an ocarina, everyone.
Yes, I did.
Good work. Oh, also, I might as well note this, since I said I was going to do it at the end of last session. I took the time and actually wrote out another journal entry to be posted to Lady Celine so that she's not worried, in drowning her sorrows in alcohol. And that can be shared with the TG and Chad. And I can read it if you want. It doesn't matter.
Yes, please.
Okay. Beholder Shalta narrowly slain, no magic unoppressed. Little folk now support us, or well, at least Cole. Support magic allows for relocation through solid stone. Expect us to remain underground as long as possible towards next destination, Windfall Isle. Shalta possess great resources within Underdark City, including extraplanar portal depositing travelers in otherworldly maze, arcana of considerable interest, invisible bridges, shadow peeling. Arena audience could watch all activities despite the planar gulf. Beholder was one of Demon Host's lieutenants, deep concerns regarding what the others have. Another note of interest, Mother Aspect formed shortly after Shalta's death, upset over Beholder not informing her of our location, possibly disrupted whatever pact Demon Host formed with Mother, but her desire for revenge might drive her further. We are still in her domain, the goblinoids may pour out in search of us. If there's something you think we should know, consider replying in the next few days before we're stripped of equipment. Again. When Pearson inevitably suggests we become demon slaves to aid black dragons, with the others naturally agreeing, I'll be unable to read your valuable input.
It worked,
Jarek.
didn't it? It worked. We're here.
Well
We're
done.
fucking gnome heroes now. It worked. If
Just
it ain't
because
broke,
something
don't
works
fix
doesn't
it.
mean it's a good idea.
Yes, it does. By definition, if it didn't work, then it'd be a bad idea.
Nope, that's not definition.
I know it's not the definition. It's my definition. It's not
It's your
the definition.
He's the bone splitter. He can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah, exactly.
Word.
Thank you, Finn. Except
See.
for that last part.
I don't know why Finn's ghetto tonight. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Oh no, it's
All
probably
right.
because you have a baby.
I'm not in any rush to fucking stare at the book and wait for a reply. I'm just gonna close it and be like, whatever. I don't know how long this is gonna take.
I will.
She wrote back, was fucking useless.
I will have a reply for you before you guys get to Windfall this session. I just need to solidify
Sure.
a few details in my head. So, so basically, unless there's something you guys need to or want to do, I'm going to say that it would take about 2 days for the gnomes to sufficiently teach Cole how to use his new artifacts so that you can travel, to find a guide that's willing to take you to Windfall Isles, and for Finn to fully connect with her new animal companion, Baby Junior. So in those 2 days' time, if there's anything you guys want to do, you should note that Kip is anxious to go, but is smart enough to understand that obviously you can't go anywhere if Cole doesn't know what to do. So he basically cools his jets for 2 days.
Besides, I mean, the time that we're going to save, being able to go there completely unmolested by the surface, you know what I mean? Like, by whatever there was on the surface, plus sail, that's no problem. Which does remind me, I don't think we got enough food for this long of a journey. We might have to top up our stores with the gnomes, with what we can carry, you know what I mean? Because I know before we left the Elven city, the Elven capital, we brought as much food as we could take with us, right? But we were also on horseback. So what are we going to do about those logistics?
It's like most of those supplies, I imagine, were left topside of the horses because we didn't think we would be gone that long away from the horses.
So now what?
Good question.
So how do the gnomes transport their goods? Do they have carts? Do they have their own beasts of burden?
They have carts that have these... do you remember I told you it's a type of cattle called Roth? Or it looks like cattle, but they live underground. There's a subterranean species called
Oh,
Roth.
yeah, it's what they eat.
Right.
You thought they were cannibals.
They also act as their beasts of burden.
Okie dokie. Are they grateful enough to have us borrow a few Roth?
Yes, but obviously once you arrive at Windfall, they will be returned until at which point... Basically what they say is when you get to Windfall, obviously the Roth can't survive on the surface, so they'll remain with us. Your guide will take you to Windfall and wait below the surface for a period of 3 weeks before returning back. But even if it takes longer than 3 weeks, Cole will always... His artifact, and Cole, this is a new ability you might want to write down. He has no sense of direction except for one, which is to the closest gnome tribe. So he can't say, like, I'm going to Coalhaven. No, but he can say... I'm going to the closest gnome tribe. So even if it takes longer than 3 weeks, you can still find a gnome tribe and from there get help to where you need to go.
So to be clear then, the beasts of burden themselves and a few carts can give us enough food to journey there, even keep some for our journey back as long as we don't take longer than 3 weeks. And we can definitely pack 3 weeks worth of food rations on us, correct?
Correct.
Then we should be okay. All right.
And they say that... hang on, let me verify something. I'm trying to see exactly how long your travel time would be. They say traveling underground like that, it's going to take you about 6 days, which is really
That's
fast.
not bad at all.
Yeah, given the area you have to cover.
It would have taken us easily double that, if not triple.
And you'd have to get on a boat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fuck
And
boats.
navigate, winged demon scouts, and who knows what was happening at any of the fucking port towns. No, this is good. This is good.
Yes.
A just deserved reward for imprisoning yourselves and fighting a beholder. So,
Fucking
good on you
beholders.
guys. Is there anything you guys want to do during the 2 days that Cole is getting trained?
I can't really think of anything in particular, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
I don't want to talk to those norms.
All right, Jared.
Well,
Damn it.
things mutual.
About a day after you send the message to Lady Celine, you do get a reply back, and I'm paraphrasing here.
Jarek's like gonna have to fucking open the book. It like sparkles or something. So there's a little bell. Like, why?
I'm paraphrasing it a bit, but it does start with "My darling necromancer."
Jarek's like brows like knit in confusion. Like, what?
She congratulates you all on defeating Shalta. From what little she's heard of such demons, it must have been a feat indeed, and it enforces her belief that she's chosen the right people to act as her voice. And she is encouraged that you guys will continue to perform well as you travel to Windfall. She lets you know that your horse has been brought back to the Elven City. And is being well taken care of, even if he is, as she says, temperamental. And then she gets to more serious business. She says that she has spoken with Sky extensively. Even though Sky is still a little confused, given that she had spent over 1,000 years under someone's control, she does remember her past life enough to be able to help in some ways. Most importantly, she gave Lady Celine all the information she had on the 5 remaining lieutenants, and she's passing that information on to you guys so that you can be as prepared as possible. Unfortunately, as of right now, there is not much on them because, like I said, Sky is still very confused and is working through it all. But they have the names and some traits of what she can remember, and you might want to write these down. Well, it'll be in the book, obviously, but you guys as players might want to write this down.
No, but we're not privy to this journal, are we? It's just between Jarek
That is true.
so
Grim, if you do want to say that you're going to share this information, then we can just have everyone write their stuff down if they want.
Yeah, I'll share it. Jarek will consider eating the page after reading the first lines, like my darling necromancer, and I go, I guess I'll have to tell the others.
So basically, it starts. There's a list of 5 demon lieutenants. It starts with Gav, G-A-V, who Sky does not know much about this. It's not that she forgot; she just not much is known about this lieutenant. The only thing, his defining trait that she remembers, is that he appeared to have been killed several times, only to resurface later. So either he's immortal or some other trick, or just incredibly lucky. But whatever the case may be, he was famous for being killed and coming back. Fabrizzo.
The Red Priest. Sorry.
Fabrizzo is one of the lieutenants of Azil. The tricky thing about Fabrizzo is that he appears to be no more than 10 years old, and commonly uses that to bend people to his will. He is by far the most sadistic of the lieutenants and delights in not just death but torture. Dementia, who is a lieutenant of Azil, who is a beautiful, looks as though an elf, a beautiful elven demon. I know that sounds weird. She is not, on all accounts, the most powerful when it comes to combat, but she has strong illusion and persuasion magic and generally uses her looks and illusions to bend people to her will. She is incredibly dangerous and intelligent. There is Nye, who little is known about Nye other than he is a self-proclaimed experimentalist, which basically, from what Lady Celine can gather from Sky, means that he performs all kinds of experiments to learn and develop new and interesting, quote-unquote, interesting ways of killing people. And last, you have the twins, Fee and Phi. They are counted as one lieutenant because they are really basically just 2 bodies that share the same type of soul. They are twins, one male, one female. They are incredibly intelligent and devious and seem to, on all accounts, be closer than you would expect siblings to be.
Ugh.
And that is all the information you have on the 5.
Okay.
Sky, forever useful. / sarcasm.
Right.
All right. And then I almost forgot. At the end of the passage, Jarek, Lady Celine says, and tell the others only if you feel this is pertinent, but given your dealings with necromancy, I felt you should know. The Lich King seems to be on the move. There is far more activity in the Wastes than there has been in the past, and given the supposed alliance with Azil, this is causing us much worry. Apparently, the orcs are hard-pressed on the border.
Well, since Jarek's going to share the journal entry and not, eat it anyway, might as well be like, oh, and by the way, Lich King's on the move, not a big deal. Here we go.
So that is the journal entry from Lady Celine. She wishes you all the best of luck and safe journey. And that is that. So, unless there's anything else, we can go ahead and we can go ahead and skip the travel too. Because you have a guide who is well versed in the ways of the waste. Your 6 days traveling underground passes rather uneventfully. Sometimes you are walking through the bedrock. Other times you are just walking below in one of the underground caverns. You don't face any monsters of the kind because the gnome knows all the secret passages to send you down and how to avoid them. And even, you know what? Everyone give me an intelligence roll. Your level plus your intelligence plus. Pearson, give me Born on the Streets. Give me half of that.
To round it up or down?
Round up. Jarek, give me not the magician one, the interrogator one.
Okay, I can do that.
Cole, give me what you've got. Daredevil. I keep forgetting what you have. Daredevil, throwing, and what else?
Daredevil, throwing, strategist, and...
Strategist. Give me all of your strategist. Finn, give me your military. And Keen, give me your mercenary. So add all those.
Hey, Squee, I'm going to spend another gold piece, and I'm going to buy some more ominous robes with an ominous cloak.
Alrighty
Make it
then.
pink.
No.
Okay.
Pink.
They don't have pink down there.
Diet.
Are you fucking kidding? They're gnomes. Half of everything is pink.
It has to be by law.
Alright,
By gnomish law.
Pearson and Grimmeth, you guys are able to listen so well to your guide that you feel fairly confident that in the future traveling underground, you will also be able to more effectively avoid the dangers of the Underdark.
Okay, what kind of dangers are there?
Enormous. There are very, very nasty beasts in the Underdark. You have things they call hook horrors. You have Karen beetles. Most of it that you will come across are beasts, so you don't come across many intelligent species. But when those beasts are things like basilisks, you
like turn you into fucking stone basilisks?
yeah, like turn you into stone basilisks.
Oh, that's not
Okay.
good.
Yeah. So
So basilisks, hook horrors, giant beetles,
and he said and things that I haven't even seen before. The Underdark is a very, very nasty place. However, the one advantage that the gnomes have and why they've lasted so long is because they are beasts. Beasts can always be outsmarted.
Hey, Inferno,
even some non-beasts can be too.
Yeah.
What's up?
we can now give guided tours of this place.
I know. And on your left, you can see a hook horror. Don't pay attention to
So we
it.
can give them like little MP3 player things for like para español, you know, you can listen in Spanish.
On your right is a rock. That's all. It's just a fucking rock. Moving on.
Oh, look!
There is a hook
Another
horror
one.
in its natural habitat.
Eating
Oh,
your
man.
face. All right.
So, other than that, the 6 days pass rather uneventfully. Cole, you, if you want to, you can take turns with the gnome when it comes to walking through the stones, so that you can kind of get the hang of it. Do you choose to do so?
Oh, God. I'm just gonna go and say yes, I will take turns.
Okay.
But I will probably note that Cole is also itching to see exactly how far he can go without being.
No, that's fine. I was gonna say that you can go because I would assume that the gnome would let you do that. You can walk about a solid 6 hours through stone before you get so tired that you have to stop and rest. And keep in mind that with this magic, 6 hours is about 4 to 5 times what you could normally cover in that distance. So I would say in those 6 hours you can cover about 20 miles.
I have a quick question here. Well, it's more necessarily in character towards Kip. It's been a hectic few days, that's for sure. So we're just Cullen's just hoping to refresh on the details of exactly what happened at his home in Windfall Isle. The only thing I really recall is that his mother is in danger or there's some sort of problems, and he's flown away to get help.
Kip will nod and he'll say, well, I don't really understand it too well myself. What I do know is that the demons came and they chained down the other dragons. I wasn't there when it happened, so I don't know how they did it, but I did see the other dragons held down by chains. My mother was able to escape with me. I don't know how she escaped, but she was there to meet me, and we got away out into the open, and that's when my mother said that she had to stay there, but that I needed to find, and he nods to Keen, the one called Keen who would help us. Honestly, I wish I could give you more information than that, but all I know is that I went out for a few days on the Isle and came back, and everyone was chained down.
I see. And where do you think your mother is now?
He kind of hangs his head and he says, I don't know. Somewhere on the island.
You don't have a home?
He looks and says, kind of. Mount Vost on the Isle is where we generally sleep, but it's customary for dragons of my age to spend weeks or even months away from the home and other places on the Isle learning to hunt and feed, but the other dragons normally stay in Vost. However, that's where the dragons were chained down. I doubt very seriously she would return to there.
Okay. Did you ever have any sort of place that you would meet her in an emergency?
He kind of cocks his head and he says, dragons generally don't have emergencies.
Well, maybe it's that. And then Cullenmore's going to catch himself for a moment, realizing that maybe back talking to a dragon is not the wisest idea. He'll just then nod and say, very well. So, do you have any suggestions on where we should start looking for her first?
He thinks about it long and hard and then says, my guess would be as far away from Mount Voss as possible. That's where I would go. So maybe the north part of the island?
Okay. Do you know approximately, by guess, how many demons have conquered your island and are chaining down your kin?
He shakes his head. I never even saw one of them. All I know is what my mother told me. I do know that there were lots of gnolls and trolls, but they never really bothered us. Also, Jarek, are you hearing the conversation?
I'm not paying attention.
Okay, then never mind.
Gnolls and trolls. Are they ancient enemies of yours?
Kip shakes his head. Dragons, we don't really have any ancient enemies unless you want to count each other. Most of... And he nods at you guys. You're kind. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but most of you leave us alone.
Okay. Well, if I can think of anything else, I'll let you know.
Kip nods and he says, if there's anything I can do that'll help you, please let me know.
Okay. With that, Pearson wants to go over to Keen. And say, so this dragon whelp sought you out for help. That must mean you've been to this island before, right?
No.
Then why the hell did he seek out your help?
I thought I told you that already.
I'll refresh my memory.
He's going to reach inside of his tunic and pull out the leather strap with the ring on it.
That's your fiance's, yeah.
Yeah. She left me because she was a priestess of the Black Dragons.
Mm-hmm. There's
So-
more that you're clearly not telling us, though. Just because you used to bang an ex-priestess doesn't all of a sudden mean you're these dragons' one and only hope. You must have done something with her, with dragons, correct?
He's gonna shrug. He said that his mom tried to find me.
Okay. All
Look.
right. If you don't know, that's fine.
Look.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I specifically, as soon as I saw him, went out and offered my help, and Keen's gonna look straight in Pearson's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Before then, practically every night I had been having nightmares of black dragons being chained up and of my loved one being tortured and screaming and crying out for me. At the very end of this nightmare, it would always end with her saying, "Follow the black dragon." So I'm doing that.
Okay. Well, I don't normally put much importance in dreams, but you have to say the coincidence is quite something.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's it.
Yep.
Kelmore will just wander back towards the gnome guide. All right, that's everything I want to do on the journey.
All right, anyone else?
No.
No, not really. The only thing that Keen's going to really be doing is making sure all of his weapons are sharp, using his new whetstone.
Cool.
Okay.
Cole's gonna step in actually, like right after that conversation, and he'll go to Keen and say, "Keen, sorry for listening in, but you say that she was tortured."
That's what happened in my nightmare, yes.
All right. And then he's going to if he's walking, he's going to gesture over to Jarek to come closer. But if he's not, he's
Sure,
he'll go over
Jarek's
to him.
busy listening to, like, Gnome Guide, man, and worrying about, like, the fucking weight of the ocean collapsing on his body. So he's been
I
paying
can
attention
tag
to
you
this
out.
point.
I can tag you out. I can
Jarek,
say
like,
this
looks
thing
over,
to
like,
gnome.
what?
Next time you write to Lady Celine, you might want to question her more about the demon who likes to torture. We might be coming across him.
Jarek says, as far as I'm aware, we were given all the information that a useless guy could give us. That being said, I know a few things about interrogation. Jarek, like, extends, like, his arms sideways, so, like, his face just comes like a, yeah, I've done it before, yeah. And, like, I've done a few tortures in my day. Might have administered some in the name of Colhaven.
Comes as a surprise to
Do you know of the demon?
No, but then again, it seems like no one on this plane does, except for Sky, and we already got as much as we could. I'll try to write for more, though, in the next entry.
Mm-hmm. Cole might be onto something, though.
Kip pipes up, or kind of goes to Pearson and said, I did think of something. I don't know if it'll help you or not, but I should point out, remember I told you that I leave home for many weeks at a time.
Yes.
I don't know exactly how long it took to subdue my kin, but I can tell you that it was done within a month. Or
Okay.
less. I don't really know how helpful that is, but all I know is that I had been away for that long, and when I came back, well, they were already subdued.
Mm-hmm. And so were they actually, did your mother say they're actually bound down by physical chains or something else?
I saw the chains myself. They looked strange, but they were definitely chains.
Even though you're just a young one, if I tried to stick a chain on you, I suppose you'd put up one hell of a fight, right?
He kind of rears his head up kind of proudly and says yes, and then he cocks his head for a moment and says, but now that I think about it, I'm not so sure that the older ones would put up as much a fight as I would.
Why is that?
And Kip shakes his head. I'm not sure. They always just seem so... I don't know what the right word for it is, but lazy? It always seemed wrong to me. We're supposed to be a proud people, but they always seemed annoyed by doing even the most menial physical tasks.
Well, the chains would have to be made of something pretty strong, and whoever did it either infiltrated your lazy elders, or they were so powerful that they overpowered them and then chained them. Regardless, it's going to be one hell of an undertaking. In fact, I almost wish I could fight Shalta again instead.
All right.
But
So,
thanks for your help.
Unless there's anything else, we can continue traveling to Windfall Isle. The gnome says that he intends to let you out. There's a cave up north. In fact, I will point to it on the map right about here. And he says to be prepared because it's going to be hot and very humid.
All right, time for Ardenfell swimsuit edition. Dun 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 dun.
Kip nods and he says the entire island is covered by jungle and swamp.
Ew.
Oh, wonderful.
No swimsuit edition. Mosquitoes will eat everything.
Oh god.
It's probably mosquitoes.
Finn looks very upset by these words.
After about 6 days, you guys, true to the guide's words, you feel yourselves going up, and if you start to feel warm air drifting in, and then finally, for the first time in what must be several weeks, you catch your first rays of sunshine.
Jarek shields his eyes immediately because
That's what I was thinking.
Was.
Yeah.
Ow!
I think all of us are going to be doing that.
I'm so happy to see the sun, but it burns.
The trick is not to allow all the light to flood you all at once, right?
You could have told me that before we reached the surface. Finn.
Why do you think I was squinting like this the entire time?
I don't look at your face.
Well, that's your mistake.
She wipes the tears from her eyes.
Oh boy. All right.
So once you guys get to the mouth of the cave, the guide, who looks a little uncomfortable not having a roof over his head, bids you guys farewell and stresses again that he will wait here 3 weeks with any provisions that you have not taken with you, and he wishes you the best of luck.
Right.
Okay, so now where do we exit out of this goddamn...
You,
I mean, we'll have a map with us, right? So
Right.
where do we exit out of?
You exit. Yeah, exactly. Right there. A
good.
little bit in there.
North.
Basically, it's really hard to get your bearing. You know about where you are, but you are literally. It's like walking into the Amazon. It is trees and vines and vegetation everywhere.
Finn looks to Cole.
Cole is
Yep.
just staring up with just... If you could see his face from where your angle is, he has the biggest smirk on his face.
Cole, it is important to note that while there are sections of the Alonsi Forest that are as dense as this has a different feel. This feels much more... The word to use would be oppressive. It feels like things are pushing in, and you see a lot of vines that are strangling trees. This certainly feels like a more hostile environment than what you're used to back in the Alonsi Forest.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say this: when you guys get out, you do hear in the far distance to the east You hear noise. It sounds like maybe pickaxes on stone, but it feels like, or it sounds like it's quite a ways off.
So, considering this jungle is made of dense vegetation, and this is the longest Pearson has been outside of his city in his entire life, he is useless when it comes to navigation, so I can provide no insight in character. Out of character, I would suggest we have both a scout and a person who has a good sense of direction to lead the bulk of the group through this goddamn bullshit.
I don't know about anyone else's abilities and whatnot, but my character is very used to the outdoors and fending for himself, and would probably have a good ways of getting his bearings down.
I'm sort of familiar with forests in general.
Okay.
Aye.
So we thinking maybe Cole, since he's mobile and climby, he's the scout, while Keen is the one to give us a more immediate sense of direction.
That can work.
Sure. Works for
Okay.
me.
Groovy.
Out of one hostile environment and into another.
And in just the few minutes it has taken for you guys to decide this, you are already sweating. It is incredibly humid
Ugh.
and uncomfortable.
Let's see here. Are there a lot of bugs around or anything like that?
Not more than you would expect. I mean, a few buzz, and you can definitely hear some buzzing, but it's not like you're getting swarmed by bugs.
Okay. Pearson doesn't know any better, so he's going to take off his shirt and wrap it around his waist to try to get some sort of relief.
All right.
I don't suppose any of you have actually traveled within a jungle environment before, have you?
Kip nods.
Oh.
I have.
Yes.
Yes.
I didn't. Cullimore will just say I didn't even know it could get this goddamn hot. God's damn hot.
It
Yes.
definitely feels different.
Concern this uninhabited realm. Not to mention that, although Kip said that his mother told him they could hold out for several weeks, it is possible that there are, not to mention just the demons, but perhaps some black dragons who are working with the demons. We are but prey here.
Oh,
No worries.
Jarek, we're prey everywhere.
This is true.
This hasn't changed at all. We just
Yes,
went from
it
the end.
has.
Why? We just came from a realm of hook horrors and beetles and unspeakable awful things. Now we're in a place of sweltering heat and black dragons and trolls and gnolls and whatever's making that picking noise. None of it's been friendly.
Look,
So-
I wasn't prey back on the mainland. I don't know about you.
Oh, you were prey. You just didn't know it. There's always hunters out there, even in a city.
Jarek rolls his eyes and snorts.
Girls, Finn kind of pipes up. She's trying to wave her hand to cool herself off. Just calm down. Let's get going.
Kip looks at you guys and says, "Is it that hot? It's never really bothered me before. If you want,
Yes.
and he'll extend both of his wings up and as wide as he can, and say, you can walk under my wings. They'll give you some shelter from the sun."
Query, why is Cole being the scout? Why is Kip not being scout with the power of flight? Or Jack?
Kip immediately shakes his head. "I don't know about the bird, but I was told not to fly. I'd be spotted almost instantly."
Yeah.
I suppose. Well, we
I
want the fight to come to us anyway, right? It's not as if we're going to find what we need to find just wandering aimlessly in the jungle, right?
We want to
Wow.
plan before we get spotted.
Yeah, stealth has... when there's an incredible force up ahead, you don't just run in like an idiot. You use stealth to your advantage, so long
Yes.
as we're
The
not
tides
detected.
have turned.
Yes, we let the elements wear us down over the ensuing weeks as we struggle to survive here.
Listen, already the heat's getting to my fucking brain, so I hope you don't mind me being short. Either come with the goddamn solution or quit your complaining and your
I
negative
do
bullshit
have a
attitude.
solution. Kip flies,
Alright.
we fight something.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Oh, yes. The dumbest thing you've ever heard. Yeah, sure. Oh, let's get captured and get thrown into an arena as gladiator slaves.
It worked. How about we investigate what that picking noise is first?
Yeah, good idea.
doubt-
It's a
I
lot
doubt
better than
dragons
listening
do
to you
that.
two.
Kip
Good Lord.
chimes in. Oh, I know what that is. It's the settlement of gnolls, and well, I'm not sure exactly what they do, but I know they mine the limestone from there. If we're going to find anyone, I suppose that's as good a place to start as any.
All right.
What are the
Sure,
Knolls'
why not?
opinions on not Knolls? Are they going to just attack us on sight?
Jarek, you will know this, as Kip says it. Gnolls, the only gnolls you ever know of, live in the wastes with the Lich King and are incredibly evil.
Jarek will immediately say, I think this is a terrible idea.
Why?
Well, I don't do a whole lot of socialization with gnolls on account of the fact that they live in a Lich King's domain. Known among things for their incredible evil, that's why the Lich King employs them as non-undead servitors.
Okay. The only thing I can see that has any use of these Knolls then is information. I mean, we can't just explore this entire island, foot by foot. We need some sort of direction. Kev has no idea where his mother is.
And Jarek goes, it's possible that these gnolls do not share similarities with the folk who live in the wastes. I can't make that judgment, but that's the only gnolls I know of.
So the question is, do we want to go engage these Knolls in conversation and or bloodshed, depending on how it works out? Or do we want to keep wandering around until we find something else?
Kip, I don't suppose you know how big this settlement is, do you?
Can everyone roll an awareness check for me? As Jarek says that. Do your intelligence or wisdom, whichever's higher, and your level, and backgrounds that you think might be relevant convince me. Well, no, actually, Pearson, we already, because you did awareness check several times. All right,
Yeah.
all right. Everyone else?
All right. Let me get a good
Okay.
look at this.
You have tracking, don't you, Piff?
Yep.
Yeah, use that.
Okay.
Okay. Cole, here's a very, very slight rustle that seems to be different than the other things. You can't quite tell what direction it came from, but it did sound a bit off to you. But you just barely caught it.
All right. Cole will actually stop being just staying there and observing, and he's actually going to check his surroundings because he's been in these situations before. It's never good to just kind of be like, "What's that sound?" Ah, it's nothing.
In that case, Jarek's still gonna look expectantly at Kip for his answer. I don't suppose you know how big the settlement is, do you, Kip?
Kip will say, a few hundred gnolls? I'm sorry, a few dozen, maybe 100? I don't know. I never really spent much time there.
Jarek looks at Pearson. I don't think we can take that many.
Cole's
No,
going to
me
be
neither.
climbing a tree.
Then we'll watch Cole.
As Cole gets about halfway up the tree, you hear a very clear voice say, I wouldn't do that if I were you. That tree has poison fruits on its branches. Every single one of you has an arrow trained on you. Who are you? And Keen,
Junior.
this sounds like a very familiar voice to you.
Oh?
Comer will say, we're a pilgrimage group trying to get to Cullhaven. I think we took the wrong turn, though.
The female voice laughs with everyone else.
Keen's rolling his goddamn eyes.
And
Comer will give a smile.
the voice says, not exactly what I was expecting, if not the truth. Why have you really come here?
Oh, a black dragon sought me out because some den of dragons is, getting tortured or something.
Keen? And immediately from the trees
That's
comes, rather banged and beat up, and looks like she's been in the jungle for quite some time, is Keen's ex. And I'm uploading a picture of her right now. She comes into the clearing where you are, holding a bow, and it's no longer at the ready. It's just kind of at her side. And she comes and she says again, Keen, is that really you?
Yes. Olivia, you're alive. You're here. And he's going to start slowly moving towards her.
She runs and hugs you very briefly, and then kind of pushes away and says, I'm alive, yes. No, that's not saying much. And then she
And I come
sees
down the tree.
and then she sees Kip and she goes, Kip, you're okay. And Kip looks at her and says, do I know you? And she shakes her head and she says, no, I served your mother. She told me that she had sent you. And Kip immediately goes, my mother, do you know where she is? And Olivia shakes her head again. I'm sorry, I don't.
Cool thinks screw it and just kind of slides down the tree.
Give me a dexterity check with Daredevil.
Sure. This might take a bit, so go ahead and say whatever other things.
Alright, I guess with that, Olivia looks around and she says, so you brought friends?
Nope, that's with a +9, so that's 21.
Okay.
Or
Not
22.
only do you avoid any poisonous barbs, but on the way down, you actually think you identify what actually are the poisonous barbs.
Okay.
Yeah, I brought friends. There's a very long-winded explanation that I'm prepared to give. But not here. Can we go somewhere else and talk?
She looks at you and raises an eyebrow. I suppose we have some catching up to do, but that can wait for another time.
Okay.
If you've truly come to help, we need it desperately.
Oh yes. We've come to help. What?
Jarek like
It's funny how
furrows
you
his
said-
brows in consternation.
Yeah, Cullimore gives a bit of a swing. No, it's just really fun to be like, oh, yeah, we totally came to help. Definitely, no problem. Ripped out my heart, but whatever. We come to help. No probs.
Yeah, we
Oh,
have. Definitely.
All right.
Jarek is considering what to write in the next journal entry.
Okay. All of these people are trusted individuals. Okay? You know this whole demon flying thing that's been happening?
She nods slowly, a little, like, she looks like she's not quite sure, but maybe.
We are the only 5 people in the entire world that can stop it.
With
We're
that,
kind
she,
of a big deal.
with that, she raises her eyebrow and she says, Keen, I know you like to exaggerate, but really, is this the time for that?
Yes,
Wow.
this is the time. I'm not kidding. I am being extremely serious right now. These people can be trusted. We are here to help.
With that, she sighs and she says, all right, then I will tell you what I can. And with that, she motions you guys. She says, however, maybe we should get out of the sun.
Good idea. Cullimore says dripping buckets.
And she leads you guys deeper into the woods or into the jungle, into a camouflaged lean-to is what you would call it, that she is made out of leaves.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit cramped for all of you to fit in there, but it can get you out of the sun. And with that, she'll sit down and she'll say, I suppose first introductions are in order. My name is Noelle Olivia, and I knew Keen in the past. I am, or was, or maybe still am, a priestess of the Black Dragons. More specifically, a priestess of his mother, and she points to Kip, and she says, Maserinda. Unfortunately, some time ago, we were invaded. No. And she stops and she shakes her head in disgust and she says, no, that's not quite it. The dragons let themselves be tied down. She pauses and says, perhaps I should start a little earlier. Dragons, as many of you I'm sure are aware, used to be much more common in the world, and then about 20 years ago, they were hardly ever seen on the mainlands of Ardenfell. That is because they all traveled here. And while I don't know why, and even the dragons I serve didn't know why, they felt called to this place. So, all the dragons of all the different colors who used to fight each other came here and settled down, which is unusual enough for dragons, but who am I to question what they do? However, as time went on, they developed a deep affection for this place, and even started to develop, the only way I can phrase it would be lethargic tendencies. They no longer wanted to fight with each other, they no longer wanted to fight with anyone, they no longer wanted to go hunt for their own food. Priestesses like us had to do everything for them. Some of the younger dragons resisted, saying that they should leave the Isle, but they weren't listened to, and the older dragons just got lazier and lazier. And then, a few weeks ago, what I assume is a demon and his ilk, came in right into our home and tied them down with chains, and not a single dragon lifted its finger to oppose them, with the exception of Maserinda. They just let it happen, and she kind of shakes her head like bewildered.
I take it by your expression, you have no idea why.
She looks up, she says, it's something to do with this island, something here, something has got to be making them like that. And then she looks over at Kip. Kip, you can feel it, can't you? Something in your mind, some sort of tingling. You're too young, I guess, for it to take full effect, but there's something here. And Kip kind of cocks his head and says, well, when I left, I did feel something was absent, and I feel it's not absent anymore, if that's what you mean. And she kind of nods and says, well, he was born here, so I suppose that would make sense. She kind of sighs again and says, I don't know, but I do know that not every dragon was affected by it. There is one who still, well, I guess other than Maserinda, who maintains his faculties, but his name is Fang, and he's working with the ones that captured us. And I was going to say, with that, Kip looks up and goes, Father?
Oh, crap.
And Olivia looks at him and says, little one, he may have been your sire, but he was no father to you. And he looks at the rest of you. Fang is about as horrible as they come. His mother, Maserinda, seemed to be more outspoken than the other black dragons in this area, and in order to settle her down and teach her what it meant to be a dutiful dragon, they forced her to marry Fang, and Kip apparently was the only good thing that ever came from it.
Wait, you mentioned they. Do the dragons have some sort of form of political body?
She hesitates, not as such, but there is a strong respect given to the elders. We follow what they say.
So you mentioned you needed help. What specifically do you need done?
She spreads her hands. I wish I had more information in that way. All I know is that some sort of demon invasion has captured the people I once served, and they're using them. I don't understand how, but I do know the chains they were bound down with do something to them, make them weaker. She looks frustrated and throws her hands up. I don't know what we need to do. I just know we need to do something.